everyone. It's Christmas Eve 2020 and I'm coming to you tonight to make a video because God's been telling me to do a video. And I just, for a few months, and I just wasn't, I wanted to make sure that it was really the Lord and that I was really supposed to do this and kind of seek Him for what I should say. So here I am. And so I'm going to first start out by telling you that the Lord came to me a few years ago. I want to say it was a little bit over 2 years ago. And I was reading the book of Genesis. I had read the book of Genesis anyway, but then He had me go back and He highlighted the Genesis 24, where Abraham was telling his servant to go and find a bride for his son Isaac. And he wanted him to go back to his home, his family, his own family, and to find Isaac a bride because he didn't want him to take a bride of the Canaanite women. And so Eliezer went to the land and took these 10 camels and found Rebecca at the watering hole, which many of you know the story. And then, you know, not only did she offer to give him water, but then she offered to water all 10 of his camels, which I thought showed her character because, you know, let's face it, most people only want to do the least. And she offered to water all his camels as well. And I just took note of that. So then he went back to her family and asked if she would come back and marry Isaac. And she did. She left everything that she knew. She left her family. She left her friends. She left the society, the culture, everything that she'd grown up with, and went to marry Isaac to a land not of her own, a family not of her own, you know, no friends, just by herself. And I don't know if any of you've lived in other countries, because I've had the privilege of living outside of the United States and actually seeing what it's like to live in another country. And it's not easy when you start living with another country, another society, another language, religions. I mean, you name it. It's just, you know, driving's different, just everything. But she left everything and she went to marry Isaac. And that's what the Lord said to me. He said, that's what you are. You're my bride hunter. I want you to go and I want you to find me my bride. The ones who will leave all, forsake all, leave the familiar and everything that's a hindrance or a distraction, and come and follow the Lord, no matter what. Who will be faithful unto death. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm calling those who will forsake everything and follow after the Lord and give Him your all, so we can be united together and glorify the Lord together. And so that's why my email is bridehunter7@gmail.com if you want to email me. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm seeking the truth and speaking the truth while searching for the bride of Messiah. That's what I'm doing. And so that's what the Lord told me to do. And so I just wanted to tell you a little bit about what the Lord has shown me and put on my heart. And, you know, a couple of years ago, I'd been just asking the Lord about the book of Revelation, where we are, the truths about, you know, everything, because there's a lot of theories and controversy about the book of Revelation, but you know, I want my revelation from the Lord. I want to know the truth from the Lord. And you know, the Lord's not an author of confusion, and there isn't a straight answer for the book of Revelation. And so I was just talking to him about that and asking the Lord, you know, where are we at? And all of a sudden I just started hearing Exodus. So I went and researched in the book of Exodus, and I was just reading it. And then the Lord just kept saying Exodus. And I thought, Lord, okay, so are we going to be exited out of here? You know, what does that mean? You know? So, anyway, then this year started, and, I noticed that on the feasts of the Lord, and yes, they are the feasts of the Lord. They're not the Jewish feasts. God calls them his feasts. He said they are the feasts of the Lord. And so I still believe he uses those feasts, and there are his moedim, his set times that he meets with his people. And I still believe they're significant times and dates. So I noticed that on the Jewish calendar, for the feast of the Lord, significant things were happening, and that this year in 2020 on Passover, that the nation of Israel was actually shut up in their houses for the first time since, I think, the first Exodus, the first Passover in Exodus in the Bible. They were shut up in their houses from 6 o'clock at night to 6 o'clock in the morning. And then I was listening to Robin Bullock, because the Lord had showed him the similar thing. And he said that he'd seen that this year that there was red waters seen, like several places, like more than twice. They showed that it looked like red water, like blood water. And then that there was a couple of times that they showed a snake eating another snake. Remember in Exodus when Moses the snake ate the sorcerer's snake? And then locusts were bigger than any locust they'd ever seen. I think it was in Africa. And then this year on Rosh Hashanah, that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. Which, if you're a patriot and you understand what's going on in our nation, and you understand what God's saying and the hour we're living in, and what the Spirit of the Lord is saying, that was pretty significant. And there's other things. I mean, you can go and research it out yourself, but we're really living in interesting times right now. And the Lord, so I was talking to the Lord about, and I do believe we are coming to a Red Sea moment. That's what everyone's talking about. But, I was talking to the Lord about the election. And I said, Trump's going to win, Trump's going to win, Trump's going to win. Everyone was saying that. And I said, Lord, I really believe Trump's going to win, but I just don't have peace about it. There's something that's not quite right about that. And I said, so is he going to win? And I really felt like it was, yes, he's going to win, but it's going to be a battle to the end. And that's the way I kind of just felt about it. I couldn't put any more words to it than that. It's just like, because in 2016, I knew Trump was going to win. God told me he's my Trump. And so I was like, okay, Lord, I knew it. My husband's like, I'm staying up and I'm watching, the election. And I was like, I'm going to bed. I know Trump's winning. So anyway, we got up the next morning. He won. But, so anyway, I just kept feeling that way. Well, then as we all know, we're at this time where this whole scenario is happening before our eyes. But the Lord told me, he said, no flesh will glory in my presence. And it's in 1 Corinthians 1, and it's 25 through 30. And the NIV says, so no one will boast before him. But what I heard was no flesh will glory in my presence. And if you go and look at other versions, they say that. But so basically, I felt like the Lord was saying, everyone was looking that Trump was going to win and Trump was going to save America, and it was going to be about Trump. And then it was, the Supreme Court, and everybody was yay about, Amy Coney Barrett, which was wonderful. But I felt like the Lord said, no, it's not about a person. It's not about the courts. I'm going to do it. Just like when Israel was taken out of Egypt, and they came to the Red Sea, and it looked like that there was no way they were going to be able to escape. But God's mighty hand split the Red Sea, and they went through on dry ground. And that's the way it's going to be. We're coming to the place where we're going to turn around, and we're just going to look, it's looking like, oh my gosh, they won. but no, the Red Sea moment, it's going to split. And then the Lord basically told me, I said, well, I was asking the Lord, I said, well, Lord, I'd heard a couple of people say that the Lord had told them, can a nation be born in a day? And a couple of people. So I was just meditating on it and asking the Lord, I'm like, Lord, is that true? Is it going to be in a day? Are you going to do it, And he just told me Psalm 118, 23 through 24. And I'm going to read it to you. Psalm 118, 23 through 24. The Lord has done this, and it is marvelous in our eyes. This is a day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So the Lord was basically saying, people are going to say, look what the Lord has done. It is marvelous in our eyes. And then the next verse says, this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day. I felt like he was saying to me, yes, I can do it in a day. It's going to be me doing it so that the world may know that I am Adonai, the King of all the earth. No flesh will glory in his presence. It's going to be about, and everyone's going to know that God did it. And so this is what I believe we're coming to. And so then the Lord was speaking to me about it, and he showed me it's like a birth of a child. The people come, and they go to the hospital, and you have the pains and all that, and which I think we're at the birthing now. And the baby comes out and it's messy. There's fluids, other stuff, umbilical cord, placenta, water, blood. Anyway, and so So the Lord basically showed me that, he was going to clean it all up. It was going to be messy, but he was going to clean it all up. Just like they do in the hospital. You have the baby, and then they clean them all up for you, and then they hand you the baby all nice and clean. And the Lord said, I'm going to clean it all up. So he's going to get rid of the deceit, the injustice, I should say, the wickedness, all these things that has been hidden for many years. And then he's going to clean it all up for us and hand us the baby. This new America. He's going to save America, Israel, and the nations. And then once he hands it to us, he's basically, I just felt from the Lord, it's going to be up to you after that. It's going to be so important how we care and nurture for this baby and teach this baby and provide for this baby and discipline this baby, make disciples. We need to take this child and train it up in the way it should go. We need to keep watch. We need to keep praying. We need to take the wall and not give up any ground. We need to make sure that we pass on all that we know and all that we understand in the spirit and everything, how we know to war and everything, to keep our ground, to keep America and Israel and the nations clean, so that we can pass it on to our generation, our children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren. We need to make sure we hold the ground at all costs and not allow the evil to sneak back in again. Because just like when Israel had the good kings and they would clean up everything, then pretty soon they'd get lazy and slowly start introducing the idol worship, the pagan gods, the whatever that was not of God. And we need to really care for and take care of, provide, protect, nurture, discipline, disciple this baby. Basically, the next generation and the next generation. We need to keep handing it down. We need to make sure that we take care, because it's going to be crucial. And I really believe that once we give up the ground, then the Antichrist will be able to come back in. And I'm tending to think, I don't know for sure, I'm tending to think that once that happens, then that's when the end is going to come. So I really believe God's giving us this, he's cleaning it up and giving us this opportunity. But it's going to be up to us how long it lasts. And that's just the sense I got. So I just wanted to tell you that and admonish you and to know you that there's more fighting for us than against us. And I really believe we're going to see God's mighty hand do mighty things for us. It's going to be messy, but it's going to be amazing too, especially if you're on God's side. So if God be for us, who can be against us, right? So be blessed. And I hope to talk to you soon. I'll come back when I feel the Lord's telling me to come back on and give you another word that I feel the Lord saying. So be blessed, bride.